She calls it a holistic approach to digital detox.
Interesting.
And it focuses on 4 key areas.
Okay.
Physical reset, mental clarity,
Okay.
emotional balance, and spiritual connection.
Wow. So it's like a whole mind-body approach.
Exactly. And we're going to dive into each of those areas
Sounds good.
to see what we can do to create healthier habits around technology.
I'm ready.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be pretty fascinating. We're going to be looking at this article, From Chaos to Clarity, the holistic approach to digital detox.
Ooh. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and it's by this holistic life coach, Violet Spring.
Oh, okay.
And, we're always talking about finding a healthier balance with technology
right.
and being more mindful and intentional with our devices.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily ditching them completely.
Yeah.
But Violet actually shares this really crazy statistic in her article that the average adult spends over 11 hours
Wow.
a day interacting with digital media.
That's a lot.
It's more than most of us spend sleeping.
Yeah. And that really puts into perspective how much technology is just kind of like interwoven into our lives these days.
Right, and all that interaction can lead to what Violet calls digital overwhelm.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, have you felt that before?
I think we all have, to some extent. It's that feeling of being constantly bombarded with information and notifications.
Yeah, it's like our brains are always on.
Right.
There's no time to just be. And she even links all this digital stimulation to some serious mental health concerns.
Oh, wow.
She talks about increased anxiety
Yeah.
and depression,
I can see that.
even sleep disorders.
Definitely.
It's kind of scary when you think about it.
Yeah. And it's not just mental health either. There's a physical impact, too.
Oh, right.
Like, we're seeing more and more people struggling with things like eye strain,
Yeah.
poor posture, even repetitive stress injuries.
From being on devices all the time.
All the time, exactly.
We don't always think about those ramifications.
No, we don't.
It's almost like we've developed an addiction to our devices.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Violet explains how using technology triggers the release of dopamine in our brains,
Oh, interesting.
which is the same thing that happens with addictive behaviors.
Wow. So it's like chemically
Yeah.
we're getting hooked.
It kind of explains why it can be so hard to put our phones down.
I know. I struggle with that.
Me too. And
Okay.
think about how often you check your phone throughout the day.
Oh, gosh. I don't even want to know.
The average person checks their phone over 150 times a day.
150 times.
That's constant task switching and stimulation,
It's exhausting.
which can really impact our ability to focus
Right.
for any significant amount of time.
Yeah, like you try to sit down and read a book
Or have a conversation.
and you just get distracted.
Exactly.
Okay.
By your phone.
So we're basically training our brains
Yeah.
for this constant state of partial attention,
It's true.
never really fully engaging with anything.
Right.
And I think that makes us more impatient,
Absolutely.
more easily stressed, like
Yeah.
we're out of sync with our natural rhythms.
It's funny you say that because
Yeah.
I've noticed that myself. Like,
Yeah,
it's like we've become so used to instant gratification
right.
that we lose patience for anything.
That takes time.
That takes time or effort.
Right.
And it changes how we approach even simple tasks.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure. So how do we know
Yeah,
if we need a digital detox?
that's a good question.
Violet actually outlines a few common signs to look for.
Oh, okay.
So think about this.
Okay.
Do you ever find yourself struggling to concentrate, especially on tasks that require sustained focus?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, another one is feeling anxious
Mm.
or uneasy when you're separated from your devices,
Oh, yeah.
even for a short time.
Like if I leave my phone at home,
Yeah,
I feel like I'm missing something.
Exactly. What about physical symptoms?
Wow.
Like headaches or eye strain?
Oh, yeah, I get that all the time.
I know, me too. And it's important to consider how technology is affecting
Right.
your relationships and responsibilities in the real world.
Yeah.
Are you always on your phone during conversations?
Sometimes
Or neglecting things you need to get done
it's a slippery slope.
because you're so absorbed in the digital world?
It is. It's hard to find that balance.
It is. And it's easy to overlook how ingrained technology has become in our lives.
Very ingrained.
But thankfully, Violet doesn't just leave us with the problem.
Oh, good.
She offers a solution.
Okay.
She calls it a holistic approach to digital detox.
Interesting.
And it focuses on 4 key areas:
Okay.
physical reset,
Mm.
mental clarity,
Okay.
emotional balance,
Mhm.
and spiritual connection.
Wow. So it's like a whole mind-body approach.
Exactly. And we're going to dive into each of those areas
Sounds good.
to see what we can do to create healthier habits around technology.
Ready.
So let's start with that physical reset.
Okay.
What are some things we can do
Yeah.
to create healthier physical habits?
Well, one of the simplest things you can do
Okay.
is establish tech-free zones in your home,
Oh, okay.
especially your bedroom and your dining area,
That makes sense.
to kind of create those boundaries.
Yeah, because I'm often guilty of
Yeah.
scrolling on my phone in bed,
Yeah.
but I've heard that the blue light can disrupt sleep patterns.
It absolutely can. It's a big culprit in sleep problems these days.
It makes sense.
And Violet also recommends something called the 20-20-20 rule
Works that?
for preventing eye strain.
Oh.
So every 20 minutes, you try to look at something 20 feet away
Okay.
for 20 seconds.
To give your eyes a break.
Exactly.
Okay, I can try that.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to just look up from our screens every now and then.
Right, and I imagine getting regular physical activity is beneficial too.
Absolutely.
Especially activities that take us away from our devices.
Yes.
Like going for a walk outdoors
Mm-hmm.
or practicing yoga.
Things like that can do wonders
Yeah.
for both our physical and mental well-being.
So it's like a double whammy.
It is.
So we've talked about physical reset.
Mm-hmm.
Now what about mental clarity?
Okay.
What are some strategies for reclaiming our attention spans?
Right.
And combating mental fatigue?
Oh, okay. Well, one wonderful practice to start with
Yeah.
is a screen-free morning routine,
Okay.
just to allow your mind to wake up naturally.
So instead of immediately reaching for my phone, I could spend that time
Yeah.
journaling or meditating.
Yeah, journaling, meditating, reading,
Okay.
just enjoying a cup of coffee in peace.
Anything but screens.
Anything but screens for that first hour.
Okay.
And another key point Violet emphasizes is single tasking.
Oh, that's a tough one,
I know it's hard because
Yeah.
we're so used to multitasking.
but it's exhausting.
It is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
So try to focus on completing one task at a time
Okay.
with your full attention.
So we're retraining our brains
Yeah,
to focus on one thing.
one thing at a time.
Got it.
And mindfulness can also be incredibly helpful
Oh, yeah.
in breaking that automatic urge to check our devices.
Right.
So when you feel that urge, just pause for a moment
Okay.
and observe the sensation without judgment.
Like notice the feeling.
Just notice it, yeah.
Okay, so we've discussed physical reset.
Mhm.
We've discussed mental clarity.
Yes.
Now, what about the emotional aspect
Okay.
or the digital detox?
This is where introspection comes into play.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, Violet encourages us to explore those underlying reasons
For sure.
for why we might be overusing technology.
Like, are we seeking connection?
Yeah. Are we seeking validation?
Are we trying to distract
Are
ourselves
we trying to escape
from something?
from our feelings, from our lives?
So it's about becoming more aware of our emotional triggers
Mhm.
and developing healthier coping mechanisms
Yes.
that don't involve relying on technology.
Yes.
So instead of reaching for our phones
Yeah.
when we're feeling stressed or bored,
Right.
we could try something else,
Like what?
like going for a walk,
Okay.
talking to a friend,
Right.
spending time in nature,
Yeah.
anything that nourishes us.
That nourishes us without the need for that digital escape.
Exactly. And journaling can be a powerful tool
Oh, yeah.
for tracking those technology habits
Yeah.
and noticing any patterns or emotional triggers.
It's a good way to become more self-aware.
And I imagine nurturing real-world relationships
Absolutely.
and practicing self-care
Mm-hmm.
can help build that emotional resilience
It can.
so we don't feel the need to constantly escape into the digital world.
It's about creating that sense of stability
Yeah.
and well-being that doesn't rely on external validation.
Okay, so finally, let's talk about the spiritual dimension
All right.
of digital detox.
Yeah.
How can we use this process
Mm-hmm.
to connect more deeply with ourselves
Okay.
and something beyond ourselves?
Well, Violet suggests incorporating practices
Dope.
that nourish your spirit
Okay.
and connect you with your inner wisdom.
Like what kind of practices?
This could be meditation,
Okay.
prayer,
Hmm.
spending time in nature,
Okay.
creative activities,
Yeah.
all without any digital distractions.
So it's about creating those sacred spaces and time for reflection
Exactly.
where we can disconnect from the digital world
Mm-hmm.
and reconnect with our true selves.
It's about recognizing that we are more than just our digital identities.
Right.
We are spiritual beings with a deep need for connection,
Yeah.
meaning, and purpose.
I love that.
And those things are often found outside of the digital realm.
Yeah, for sure. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But how do we actually put these ideas into practice?
Right.
How do we make lasting changes to our digital habits?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is, and Violet offers some practical implementation
Oh,
strategies.
good.
So I'd love to hear about those.
I'd be happy to share them with you.
Okay, great.
Well, she suggests starting with a digital audit.
Okay, a digital audit.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's basically about becoming more aware of how you're spending your time online.
Okay.
So you can track your screen time,
Mm-hmm.
see which apps you use the most,
Right.
and kind of pinpoint those times of day
Okay.
when you're more prone to like mindless scrolling.
So it's like creating a baseline
Yeah,
for our digital habits.
exactly.
So we can see where we might need to make some changes.
Exactly, once you have that awareness.
Yeah.
You can start creating a digital detox plan
Okay.
with small, achievable goals.
I like that starting small
Yeah.
because it feels less overwhelming.
It is less overwhelming
Yeah.
than trying to change everything overnight.
Right, exactly.
So, for example,
Yeah.
you could try a 24-hour mini detox
Whoa.
on a weekend.
A whole day without technology.
A whole day.
That's a little intimidating.
It can be, but also intriguing.
It is. It's a very eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
You might be surprised
Yeah.
by how much you accomplish,
Right.
how much you enjoy simple things,
Mm-hmm.
and how much you actually don't miss being constantly connected.
I'm curious to try it.
Yeah.
What are some other small steps?
Okay, well, you could set designated times
Okay.
for checking emails and social media.
Oh, that would be huge for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm constantly
Yeah.
getting pulled away from whatever I'm doing
By those notifications.
by the urge to check my notifications.
It's a common challenge.
It is. Another strategy is to create a morning routine
Okay.
that delays engaging with technology
Okay.
for at least an hour after waking up.
So instead of reaching for my phone first thing in the morning,
Exactly.
I could spend that time
Yeah.
reading,
Yeah.
meditating,
Yeah.
just enjoying a cup of coffee in peace.
Anything but screens.
Right. And on the other end of the day,
Yeah.
you could implement a digital sunset
Oh, I love that.
where you stop using screens
Yeah.
an hour or two before bed.
Especially because we know
Yeah,
that blue light from our devices can disrupt our sleep.
it makes sense.
It can significantly improve your sleep quality.
Right.
And there are also some great technology tracking apps
Uh-huh.
that can help you monitor and gradually reduce your screen time.
Okay, so there are tools out there
There are tools
to support us.
that can help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What if we slip up?
that's okay.
What if we have a day
Yeah.
where we just can't resist scrolling through social media?
Violet emphasizes that setbacks are a normal part of the process.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
Takes the pressure off.
it does.
Yeah.
It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about progress.
And being kind to ourselves.
Self-compassion is crucial.
Yeah.
The important thing is to learn from those slip-ups and
Okay.
get back on track.
So the goal is sustainable change,
Exactly.
not just a temporary fix.
Not a quick fix, no.
So this isn't about becoming a tech-hating hermit.
No.
It's about finding a balance that feels right for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The goal is to cultivate a conscious
Okay.
and balanced relationship with technology.
Mhm.
It's about using technology intentionally
Okay.
to enhance our lives
Right.
rather than letting it control us.
So how do we make sure these changes stick?
That's a great question.
How do we shift our relationship with technology
Yeah.
in a lasting way?
Well, Violet highlights some really valuable strategies
Wow.
for creating sustainable change.
I'd love to hear about those.
I'd be happy to share those with you.
Okay, great. Okay, so tell me about those strategies for making this change last.
Well, one of the key strategies is setting aside weekly screen-free periods.
Like a digital Sabbath.
Exactly. It could be a full day or an evening or even just a few hours. The important thing is to create that regular time to disconnect completely and just engage in activities that nourish you.
So just giving ourselves permission to unplug and recharge.
Yeah, without guilt or that pressure to be constantly available.
I like that. And what about those designated times for checking emails and social media?
Right. Those can be so helpful in reducing that feeling of overwhelm because you're not constantly reacting to every notification.
It's like we're retraining our brains to expect those interactions at specific times.
Exactly. And another important strategy is setting clear boundaries between work and personal digital use.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is, especially these days when work can so easily spill over into our personal lives.
It's like the lines are blurred.
Yeah, so it's important to create that separation, both physically and mentally.
So maybe having separate devices for work and personal use.
That could be helpful, or setting specific work hours where you don't check personal emails or social media.
Or even creating little rituals
Yeah,
to help you transition from work mode to relaxation mode.
exactly. Little things like that can make a big difference.
I really appreciate how Violet emphasizes addressing those root causes of our digital dependence
Right.
instead of just treating the symptoms.
It's not just about changing our habits, it's about understanding why we turn to technology in the first place.
Like, what need are we trying to fulfill?
Exactly. Are we seeking connection, validation, distraction, escape?
And once we understand those
We
needs,
can find healthier ways to meet them
in the real
in
world,
the real world. Yeah.
it's about creating a life that's so fulfilling
hmm
that we don't feel the need to escape into the digital world as often.
Exactly. A life filled with meaningful relationships, passions that excite you, finding joy in the present moment.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
I-
Violet Spring's holistic approach to digital detox is so empowering.
It is.
It reminds us that we have the power to create a healthier relationship with technology.
It's not about demonizing technology
Yeah.
or becoming a technophobe.
Yeah.
It's about using it mindfully and intentionally
As a tool to enhance our lives.
to enhance our lives, not control them.
Exactly. And remembering that true well-being
hmm
comes from nurturing our minds, our bodies, and our spirits
In a holistic way.
in a holistic way,
Finding that sweet spot where technology supports our goals and values.
instead of dictating how we spend our time and attention.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
What's one small change you can make today
Mm.
to start reclaiming your digital balance?
It could be something as simple as turning off notifications for a few hours,
Oh?
taking a walk in nature without your phone, setting a digital curfew for yourself.
The most important thing is to start somewhere,
Yeah.
no matter how small, and keep going.
You deserve to find that sense of digital peace and clarity.
I think we all do.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, leave a comment below, and be sure to subscribe and help us build this awesome holistic heroes tribe. And while you're waiting for new episodes, check out my other videos from these playlists.